Hello and welcome. We're going to tackle a challenge today that pretty much every parent and every teacher faces. How do you take these huge, complicated scientific ideas and make them not just understandable, but genuinely fascinating for a young kid?
Think about it. How do you explain the entire life of a plant to a 5-year-old? Not just listing the parts, but, the whole amazing story? It sounds like a huge task, right? Well, it turns out there's a really brilliant blueprint for doing exactly that. And today, we're going to break it all down.
So let's kick things off with what we're really up against here, the Young Scientist Challenge. And the stakes here are, well, they're incredibly high. These early years are when we have this amazing opportunity to light a fire, to spark a lifelong passion for science. So the goal isn't just to download facts into their brains, it's to cultivate real, genuine scientific curiosity and build a solid foundation of understanding from the get-go. Okay, so how in the world do we do it? Well, let's dive into the blueprint. We're going to look at this through a teacher's lens. These are the core strategies that make complex science actually stick. What this blueprint shows us is that great teaching isn't an accident. It's a really smart, planned approach. You got to focus on where the child is developmentally. You have to get ahead of the common things kids get wrong. And maybe most importantly, you have to use hands-on, tangible learning. It's really all about mixing that big picture strategy with content that's just unforgettable. All right, so that's all great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's move on and really dissect what makes a lesson fantastic. So we're going to get super practical and dive into a case study. It's the script from an educational video called Plant Power. And let me tell you, this thing is a masterclass in using all those strategies we just talked about. Let's look at a few specific examples. First up, we've got roots. The script says, roots soak up water and nutrients from the soil, which are super important for the plant to grow. Now, the technique here is just brilliant because it's so simple. It uses these concrete, action-oriented words. A kid might not get absorption, but soaking up like a sponge? Oh yeah, they get that immediately. It makes this invisible process feel totally real. Okay, next, let's look at the stem. I love this one. The script describes it like this. The stem is like the plant's backbone, and it's superhighway. And see what they did there? This is the perfect example of using simple but really powerful analogies. Calling the stem a superhighway just clicks in your brain. Suddenly, it's not just a stick holding the plant up, it's this bustling transportation system. And that's an idea that's going to stick around. Now let's move on to the leaves. This is where the script gets really creative. It says, leaves are truly amazing. They are the plant's food factories. What a fantastic move. They're connecting a super complex idea to something every kid understands. Photosynthesis? That's a huge, scary word. But a food factory? Every kid knows what a factory does. It makes stuff. That one simple connection makes the leaf's job totally clear. And finally, we get to the fruit. The script explains it this way. When you eat an apple, you're eating the part of the plant that keeps its seeds safe. This shows off another crucial technique, explaining the purpose behind the part. It's not just a yummy apple. It has a mission. Its job is to protect the seeds, and understanding the why is what turns a simple fact into real, meaningful knowledge. But here's the thing. This is where it all comes together. These individual techniques are amazing, but the most powerful tool of all is how you weave them all into one. This brings us to the real secret sauce for making science stick.
You see, the script doesn't just list the parts of a plant. No way. It tells the story of the apple tree. It creates a narrative, a life cycle, a journey. The whole adventure starts with a tiny seed. Then the roots and stem build the foundation. The leaf factories fire up and get to work. Beautiful flowers pop out. And finally, the apples grow to protect the next generation. By turning facts into a story, the information suddenly makes sense. It's all connected, and it's so much easier to remember.
So let's zoom out and think about the big takeaway here. For anyone who's teaching kids, think of this as your personal toolkit. These are the strategies you can use over and over again. Come up with powerful analogies, your own STEM superhighway. Make those familiar connections, like the leaf food factory. And frame everything inside a story with a purpose, just like the apple tree's journey. And hey, don't forget to get their hands dirty. For example, the source material had this awesome activity called Plant Parts Around You, where kids find the different plant parts right there in their own lunch. How cool is that? So if you only take one thing away today, let it be this. It's not just about what you teach, it is all about how you frame it. Storytelling is the magic ingredient that transforms a boring list of facts into real knowledge that will stick with a child for life. And that leaves us with one last question to take with you. Looking at the world through this lens now, what's the next food factory or the next superhighway that you are going to help a child discover?